Welcome to Safeword by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. If you're joining us for the first time, you're probably wondering what Fear and Greed is and why we have a podcast called Safeword. Well, Fear and Greed is Australia's most popular business podcast. We've earned that title over the last couple of years. We're out every day, in fact, a couple of times every day. Safeword, on the other hand, is all about those other businessy stories and things that aren't really news. They don't make the normal daily episodes, but they're well worth talking about. Now, sometimes things get a little heated, a little bit uncomfortable perhaps, which of course is why we need a safe word. Now, it gets heated and a little uncomfortable because, as opposed to many of the other episodes, I have to put up with my two colleagues. So let me introduce them to you. Adam Lang, spreadsheet enthusiast, lover of small dogs and fine wine. Good morning, Adamski.
And good morning to you, Sean.
Michael Thompson, token, really. Well, we needed someone who was a little bit younger than Adam and I, so he's fairly young. Terribly unfit, as we found out last week. And he believes he's an awful investor, but he just keeps buying crypto. Michael, good morning.
Good morning, Sean.
I'm Sean Aylmer. I'm actually here to give this show a bit of credibility and keep an eye on the other two. Now, we have a bit of a format. Well, we like to start with a bit of a format, and probably within the first 2.5 minutes, that always goes out the window. But we're going to try, Mickey, to stick to a format today. And what we normally start with is audience feedback. What's the best of it this week, Michael?
Well, I would love to stick with the format, but I just have to say, you keep accusing me of buying crypto constantly. I've never bought crypto because I don't understand it and I'm too afraid of losing my money. So I just don't want to get off on the wrong foot today and have Safeword filled with inaccuracies right from the very beginning. Everything you said about Adam is right, but just me, I'm
1 minute, 50 seconds in and we've gone off script.
Yeah.
That's almost a PB for Safeword.
Yeah, if the script is wrong and if you're just making up rubbish, then I'm going to have to pull you up on it. I'm sorry.
You wrote the script, Michael.
Well, I do have a bit of feedback for you. I've got some
Right.
personal feedback for both of you, but I'll give that to you later. But this is actual real feedback from real people who are listening to Safeword. And, well, generally the vibe is that they enjoy it. This one came from Mark on social media, so don't forget, of course, to follow Fear and Greed on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the rest of it. Basically, anywhere you can sign up to anything, you'll find Fear and Greed. Mark said, I've been listening to Safeword ever since it was the Sunday edition of Fear and Greed, so what's that, about a month? He goes,
Not many listeners stay that long, though. Good on you, Mark. All credit to you. 4 in a row.
we have not managed to turn him off yet. Well done, Mark. He says, I love it on its own, but what happened to Maggie? So Maggie is, and you actually mentioned Maggie, Sean, in your intro of Adam there when you referred to him as a lover of small dogs, which is meant in a purely platonic sense.
Oh,
Quick, safe word.
we haven't got a safe word yet for the day. Last week's was Grinch. We're going to use that one again right this moment. Grinch. Go on, Michael. Go on.
Maggie is, of course, your young cavoodle puppy, Adam. And
Yes.
she is only, about 3 months old now?
Yes.
And you used to give us a bit of an update every week on how she was going. And we haven't. And obviously, Mark is hanging out for an update on how little Maggie is going. And if you want to kind of work a safe word into this, then please feel free.
Okay, Maggie's very well. Thank you, Mark, for asking.
Is Maggie allowed in the house?
Yeah,
Does it sleep in the house?
she practically lives in the house.
Where's she sleep?
Does Maggie have a bedtime?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you both for asking. Sort of around 9, she does her final ablutions for the evening, and then we bring her in to go to sleep.
And so she's going to sleep 2 hours after the rest of the household. Is that right?
No, the kids are up till 9. Come on.
Oh, that's
give
right. The
them a
kids are the
break.
ones taking her out for the ablutions. Yeah.
It's only Adam that goes to bed at 7. That's right. So where does Maggie sleep?
Maggie at the moment has a crate in the playroom that she goes into, and yeah, we've been training her since 8 weeks, and she is happy to go in there now. She's taking herself in there at night.
What? Well, not surprised. Playing with Adam. No. Just let me go to my crate.
I picture it as a milk crate, but I'm assuming it's something fancier than a milk crate.
No, not very fancy. It's like a wire mesh cage, and you can close the door or leave it open.
So you cage the dog at night?
Yes, we do. But we won't do that forever. That's really just for training.
You lock your dog up in a cage at night?
Yep. And then
Whoa.
first thing in the morning, around 6, she goes, we take her out.
So you unlock the cage?
We do. Yes. It's not a lock. It's just a couple of little levers.
It's generous of you.
And Sean, I think you and I might be on the same page with this one. How do you feel about dogs inside? I've got a very firm view on this.
Well, I actually, Michael, to be honest, I changed in the last 30 seconds. I was going to go down that path, but then I realised that Adam cages Maggie at night. And I thought, actually, that's a much better line to go down than the inside-outside dog path.
Oh, we're improving each other already.
What about this inside-outside thing, though?
Yes.
What's wrong with having a dog outside?
No, nothing at all. But this is the kind of the training period up until we've practically got a few more days until Maggie has her final vaccinations. And she's also starting to get old enough where, for example, we can take her out into parks that other dogs have gone on. So it's this really restrictive training period, part based on vaccinations, but part based on her getting comfortable here so that she doesn't, wee and poo all over the house.
It's a dog. You do know that. You're aware of that.
She's got a character, Sean. She's got a personality. And she's a dog.
Good for the kids.
Great for the kids.
That's how I see dogs. Put them outside at night. When the kids are cranky, throw the dog into them. That sort of settles them down. Otherwise, I'm neither here nor there.
I think it's good for everyone in that, you're right in that it's not one of your children, but it's someone, another character in between us all.
You don't cage your kids at night?
I think there's a Geneva Convention somewhere that you've got to abide by. No, not yet. Although some of those cots, when they're young babies, geez, they're close to a cage.
Oh, yeah. High cots. Oh,
they actually are pretty much a cage for children, aren't they?
Well, they can't climb out of them. So even though they haven't got a roof on them or a ceiling, they are very restrictive.
Well, that was on Modern Family. Did you ever watch Modern Family, the TV show? That was referred to as a baby cage, was a little kind of playpen, a cot. So I think it is kind of done. It's just the unspoken thing that people don't really talk about, the fact that you are, in fact, caging a child at night. But, Adam, you're quite upfront about caging a poor, innocent little puppy.
She will grow out of this cage.
And you'll get a bigger one.
Well, yeah, it's called our house and our backyard.
So will she sleep outside at night when she gets a bit bigger?
Up to her. I'm guessing she probably won't.
So she has the option of sleeping inside?
She will. We haven't fully determined this as yet.
Mark, we are going to keep you updated on this. Before we go too much further, though, we do need a safe word because these conversations, as we've already found out, tend to go a little bit in areas that we probably shouldn't. Michael Thompson.
Baby cage.
Mickey T. You're normally the person that takes us there, but you're youthful, so that's probably okay. We put up with that. Safe word, Adamski, do you have a safe word for us today?
Well, I do, but I'm just wondering if, now that we've had the discussion, baby cage is the right one.
It is.
And then separately, can I throw in an idea for a new segment for the podcast?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So Michael, in his role, has taken on responsibility for Gripe, and we have a Gripe every episode. But I'm wondering if we might even have a new one for our Safe Word podcast, Gripe Word section, so that Michael this week...
I just love how naturally that flowed for you then. Just Adam. It's like gripe word.
Yep. The funny thing about this, I like Adam talking about this because he's very Pollyanna-ish, Adamski. Would you agree with that, Mickey?
Look, Pollyanna is well before my time. I grew up with colour TV and kind of motorised vehicles, so you might have to explain the reference.
I don't know. I actually don't know the original rep. Pollyanna, it's people always look on the bright side. And there was a great example of that with Adam this week. Adam is always positive. It drives me up the friggin' wall at times. Like, Adam, just get cranky. No. But it's raining and you're supposed to be out there playing something. No. But isn't it wonderful the garden's growing? Oh, for God's sake. That's the sort of bloke Adam is, right? We all come across him occasionally. There was a great one this week. Adam, in his in another life, does quite a bit of coaching and is a very successful coach. Mickey and I haven't quite, taken advantage of your skills in that area yet, Adamski, but hopefully we will. And we're just talking generally about how that business was going for you. And
Yes.
you said, the rule of thumb is 3 positive comments for every constructive comment, not negative comment. Constructive comment. And I thought, that is you to a T. You can't even say the word negative. 3 positives for every constructive comment.
Small correction, it's 4-1. Yes, I do. Not just 3.
But you tried really hard, Sean. You were very close to getting 3. That was a really good effort.
It
Nearly.
was. Just a
Nearly.
stretch target for you next time. Get to the 4-1.
You stretch target. Oh gosh, that is another one of those terms, isn't it? This is fantastic. You know, we could actually compile a full kind of glossary of business speak.
Yes. Gripe words.
This could be getting back to gripe word. This is a good segue. Adamski, keep going. Then we'll let Mickey off the leash, so to speak.
He may have a couple up his sleeve. Can I suggest one to kick off? Because
What is a gripe word?
okay, a gripe word is a good word that has become overused in the professional vernacular and so taken away from its original and semi-exclusive use. It just gets hammered. So it happens. It's cyclical, right? I guess it's like people's names. You get an overuse of certain names from time to time. Like, for example,
Adam.
the name, yes, Adam, the original. And then there's like 15 different spellings of Jaden.
Jaden?
Jaden.
Yes.
How many? Okay, hang on. Stop. You can't just toss that out there and then move on. Jaden.
Sure.
How many spellings of Jaden are you aware of? Jayden would be the gold standard Jaden.
At least 6. Now, may I
6. Can you spell them?
suggest that the look of the AFL player list will tell you more than that.
Right. So as opposed to you and me, Michael, Adamski actually has facts behind what he's saying here, so we might just let that go.
Yeah. Okay. Please carry on, Adam, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, thank you. So back to gripe word and my suggestion to kick these things off with it, which is really overused words in business that I come across. And I guess occupational hazard, right? We do cover a lot of business news and announcements and so on. But there was this word that I thought was lovely, and then it's just been hammered in recent times, and that is nuance. I think the word is lovely, but it's just been crushed by overuse. So
yes, good point. I like that. Nuanced.
I think that is my suggestion, gripe word. And my first kickoff for this week is the word nuance. Great word, crushed by overuse.
I think a bit of brainstorming here. Like,
there's
as you're
another one.
talking, brainstorming, there's one.
There was a time they were called thought showers because brainstorming was too negative.
What's the safe word?
I kid you not.
What's the safe word? Quick.
Baby cage.
Baby cage.
Hang on. So is that a real thing? A thought shower?
Thought shower.
I am not joking. It was actually brought up, in a professional environment that I was in. We weren't calling them brainstorming anymore. I said, okay, that's too negative. Storm's negative. Calling them a thought shower.
What about journey? You know the word journey? Used
Another
to be
great word.
journey. I'm going away. Fantastic.
Overused.
In fact, this brings me up to the point I've just had a great holiday. No, thanks for asking me about it, guys. Anyway, so we've been a bit quiet on that front, hasn't it? So journey, let's take people on the journey. The journey. That just frustrates me. It's journeys when you're going away somewhere.
It's stupid.
It's not going through a pack of PowerPoints. Ideate. There's another one. Ideate.
Oh, God, that's not a word.
It's not a word. What about bloody Sheryl Sandberg? Yeah, she might be smart. She might be Facebook's guru.
High
but
achiever.
She's the one that came in leaning. Yes, I'm leaning into that idea.
Good words, but just overused.
Oh, for God's sake. Lean in, ideate.
You know what really annoys me? Action, used as a verb. So when they say that this, I'm going to action this.
Hey, don't go literate on me, mate. Don't go literate on me.
You know what? What's wrong with just saying, I want you to do this, not I want you to action this? I mean, it's just stupid.
Yes.
It overcomplicates language when it shouldn't be that complicated. And you know what is the most stupid term? Actually, there's two of them. One is hump day.
Flowing.
I hate hump day. It just...
Why?
Yep.
I don't like it, but just independently, why?
Okay, great. It's the middle of the week.
I agree.
Does it need... It's already called Wednesday. Does it need another name? It doesn't. And Happy Friday. Also Friday or Monday or any one of these.
Hate them.
No, you know what? We have used the words Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for many years. I don't know how many, 20 or 30. I don't know how long the calendar's been around. But
the Gregorian calendar, couple of thousand, I think.
Look, I mean, that's a relevant detail. Stop trying to make new things happen like Happy Friday and Monday and Hump Day. Just call it Wednesday.
Michael, that's the new normal.
There's another one.
Done it again.
So,
have you got enough bandwidth for that one? We should take this offline perhaps and circle back.
Circle back. Yeah, we're just going to touch base.
I wouldn't mind pivoting on this one. Anyway, we'll just get the low-hanging fruit and go from there. Oh, I'm on fire. I'm very excited about this conversation. Gripe word.
can I just add, Michael, I know you're the young person of this group, but occasionally you do bring on feelings like one of us older, mature folk.
Well, are you saying that older people would have an issue with hump day?
I think that older people in general may dislike things that are not traditional, and here you have stuck to some of the oldest traditions of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I just don't see the point in any change. And as I say that, I'm actually hearing it now. Yes, I do sound very old.
I'm hearing my grandfather.
Yep.
That is the great thing about this show, Safeword. Whilst Adamski and I are sprightly 50-year-olds, we're leaving it at that.
Pause.
Mickey's like sort of a grandfatherly 35-year-old.
The young folky.
I just have a broad range of sensibilities.
Fair enough. We'll be back in a moment.
We're 2 years into Fear and Greed existing as a business now. It's been a company now for the last couple of years. So it feels like we can now tell some of the stories from our humble beginnings when the business was just beginning.
As long as they don't involve me, absolutely.
No, they all involve Adam. So
Well, I've managed to lead with my chin.
You certainly have. And there's a common thread between a lot of these stories, and it's not just you, Adam. It is more specifically your technological prowess or just a complete lack thereof. Because when we first started Fear and Greed, when we were deciding who was going to do what and who was taking what responsibility, I don't know how you ended up with responsibility for everything technology-based. And that involved building a website, which I'm going to take a punt and say you hadn't done it before. Because our
It's a wild stab, but you're absolutely right.
Our first website, fearandgreed.com.au, it was okay. The first page had our logo on there and a bit of info. But if you clicked on any one of the other tabs on the website, you were invited to make a booking for a yoga class. So you just reused a template that you'd found, and half of the template pages had managed to sneak their way into our main page. So there we were taking bookings for yoga. And I don't know about you, but I'm assuming you're actually, you know what? I'm not going to assume that you are not a yoga teacher.
Oh, I wouldn't assume that about Adamski.
Because you're a very flexible individual.
He certainly is.
Speaking of sprightly.
Haven't we all experienced that?
And I am not a yoga instructor.
Mickey, where I will jump in here and just defend Adam, you got to give it to Adamski. He tries.
Oh, he does.
Enthusiasm over ability.
Yeah, it's like the exuberance of youth, except you're old, as opposed to the wisdom of experience, thinking, no, have got no idea how to do it. You just jump in and have a go. And look, if in the end we end up with a bunch of people wanting to learn yoga, well, great. There's a community service there, isn't there?
And a new revenue stream. I mean, that's
potentially. Well, a first revenue stream, actually, back in those days.
Fear and greed yoga has got kind of a appeal about it, I think.
I don't know whether it does, Adam. I actually don't think it does. I don't think anyone is going to be lining up to come and learn yoga from you or me or Sean. The other technological incident that's happened most recently was we decided a couple of weeks ago to set up a YouTube account because, sure, podcasts are very audio-based.
Laughing already at this one.
And this was supposed to be a Fear and Greed YouTube account so that we can start putting some of the videos, some of the visual content that we create online. We made some videos and Adam goes, "It's all right, I'll set up the YouTube account." And he sent the link through, set it all up and invited me to join it. And I went in there and he's populated it with all of our videos. And I look at the name of it and we have the logo of Fear and Greed and the name of our YouTube channel, which you would think is Fear and Greed. No, the YouTube channel's name is Adam Lang. So anyone wanting to find Fear and Greed now, you don't search for Fear and Greed on YouTube. You just search for Adam Lang, and it is just an Adam Lang video channel full of videos of me, which is kind of creepy in itself.
Remember, Mickey, you told us a couple of weeks ago that if you go to the Fear and Greed website and you look at the fine photos of the three of us,
yes,
I appeared nicely, you appeared nicely, and twice the size was a photo of Adam Lang.
Twice the size. I think you're
actually more.
Remembering this rather kindly on Adam. It was 4 to 5 times the size of the image of you and the image of me. There was just this whopping great portrait of Adam Lang with these two little kind of tiny little kind of thumbnails of Michael and Sean just down below beneath the giant Adam Lang overlord. And so you might be onto something. Maybe there's a little bit of deliberate action involved in this.
I think it's just straight incompetence.
Bit of a trend here. Now, anyone going to the Fear and Greed website, we have forced Adamski to change the size of his picture. I just want to point that out. Obviously, YouTube, please put in Adam Lang. You'll get Michael Thompson and Fear and Greed content. Good. Have we changed it yet or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about making it easy to find, really, isn't it? And what could be easier to find than, you want Fear and Greed? Search for Adam Lang. Yeah.
That's right.
So can I confess another one?
Oh, please.
It's a bit of a ghost of the yoga situation in that when I set up the videos on our website, believe it or not, there were subcategories for what kind of yoga you wanted to watch within our videos. God, I've done it again. It took me a couple of days to fix it because I just didn't see it. It's like, oh no.
You were so busy in those first few months. That's what you're doing.
It was hectic.
But look, this has come a long way from where we started, which was Adam's ability to provide constructive feedback to people in the ratio of 4 positive things to 1 thing that needs to be constructive, which is a great way to manage people.
Particularly given you can now ignore, if you're a student of Adam's, just ignore the 4 positive things because they don't mean anything.
They're just filler.
All you got to listen to is a constructive one. Absolutely.
Can I share a story that I saw recently?
Has it got anything to do with business?
It does. It actually does. This is a business-related story.
This is unusual for Safeword.
Well, no, it's loosely business.
Is this like your potato story from last week, Michael, where you're going to say something really bizarre and ask me to relate it to business?
Stitch you up? No.
Yeah.
No, I feel like we've given you enough of a hammering already this episode.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Okay.
That only means one thing for me.
Yeah. Brace yourself.
No. This is actually just a genuine discussion point that I'd be interested in both of your thoughts on. So you might have seen this story. It was a story out of the US in the last couple of weeks, and it was this bloke working at a consultancy firm, an engineering consultancy firm based in Seattle. Anyway, he posted some videos online. The videos went viral, and this is where the story came from. And he moved from his apartment into his cubicle at work.
What, to live?
Yes, to live. So, and he was doing it as a bit of a protest. He said that I'm moving from my apartment into my cubicle at work. They do not pay me enough to do both. So as a matter of protest, I'm just going to live at my job and we'll see how long I can get away with this. So
George Costanza.
yeah, he first of all, guess how long he lasted. He was fully living and sleeping and eating in his cubicle 24/7. How many days do you reckon he lasted?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Sean, what do you reckon?
I'd say a week.
4 days was all he lasted.
Well, thank God for that.
He reckons he could have made it 6 months if, and this is the big if he hadn't posted the videos to TikTok. It suddenly drew a whole lot of attention to the fact that there he was living in his office. I don't know, though, because he really did. He had all of his clothes. He had a sleeping bag. He had his toiletries. He had food everywhere. He said it was okay because the office was empty because everyone was pretty much working from home. He was fired, as you could probably expect, but it wasn't apparently because he was sleeping at work, but because of the videos that he posted, because they told him to clear out his cubicle, obviously, and just to continue working. But they asked him to take down the videos or he'd be terminated, and instead he chose to leave. I reckon it's a bit of a stunt to get himself a TikTok following because he apparently has a bit of a second job. He moonlights as a clothing designer.
Right.
Not bad.
So his wardrobe would have been quite good, potentially, within the cubicle.
Yes. Well, there are a lot of pictures of him. I think he designs pajamas. So there are a lot of images of him wearing pajamas.
And now the mystery's revealed. How did you find this story?
It's where I do all of my research for Fear and Greed. News.com.au.
Right.
But I suppose the question for both of you is, because you have both been managers of people, Sean running newsrooms and right across the country, and Adam as the CEO of an ASX listed company, have you ever fired anyone for sleeping at work?
Being asleep at work.
So I am aware I did work with someone who was sleeping in the office, and it wasn't immediately obvious, but it was suspected. And the problem was this person was my boss and had an office and was going through a marriage breakup at the time and was trying to keep it secret. And I reckon they kept it secret for a number of weeks before their boss said to them, you've got to stop that. But they weren't fired. They were supported through it, which I think was excellent at the time.
Pollyanna Adam Lang. Keep it up. There's good in everything, Adamski. There's good in everything.
Sean, how about you? Have anyone living at work?
No, but in newsrooms, because people work late and journalists are incredibly hungry people and they're always trying to get the latest story. Nowadays you do it from home, but there were people that used to work till you'd get emails at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning from people saying, hey, I've just updated the website on this story, might be in a little bit late tomorrow, so they get in at 9 rather than 8. There was actually a lot of that. No one lived there. I actually really disliked that total devotion to work because you actually become quite narrow. And as a journalist, you wanted to have people who experienced lots in life outside chasing down a story. But you would get these people that would work ridiculous amounts of hours and they loved it. And in fact, you still do. I mean, there's Canberra journalists. I don't think any decent Canberra journalist is on 24/7, literally. But they can't help themselves. They can't help the business journalists where markets are going 24 hours a day. They are always up for it. Some of those gossip columnists, they're the ones who work hardest of the lot because they've got to fill a gossip column every day or every week. But the guys that are doing it daily, they're always looking for stuff. So I've just taken a total tangent here, Michael. Never fired anyone for sleeping in the office. Have actually had issues with people being in the office too much and wanting them to have a broader life by actually doing stuff outside work.
Well, that was very businessy, and you are a pair of regular Pollyannas. You've just really kind of turned this into a very cheery. Here I was hoping for a bit of scandal about the fact that the two of you, I don't know, you were just firing people for, I don't know, doing drugs in the office or something. Just pick something, and here you are.
I've done that.
Did you say you've done that?
Yes.
Go on.
No.
The ones that were hardest were when there were complaints between people who used to be special friends and were no longer special friends, and they worked together, and then the disagreement kind of spilled over from their personal life into their professional life. I always thought they were the hardest because it was none of my business what they were doing personally. But when they brought that into the office, that was always a bit tricky.
So, Michael, can I ask you a follow-up question? And this is to Sean's point, which is, I think it is absolutely normal for people to meet in a workplace and form relationships. Right. So I know some companies have banned personal relationships and so on. I think that's just impractical. Oh, God. Yes. I think it's impractical. So it's if you're willing to accept that it's going to happen and you just got to manage how it happens, God, there can be some fascinating situations. Have you ever had to manage a situation like that?
The worst ones have actually just been kind of friendships that have gone really, really, really sour. And it like really close friendships that are almost probably the equivalent of a relationship. And then when that blows up, it just blows up spectacularly. And it just gets really nasty. Yep. And of course, there are so many procedures that you have to follow in order to do that. And so you find this weird kind of clash between something that is very, very personal between people and a very formal structure of having kind of meetings with witnesses present to essentially resolve something that should and could well just be managed entirely elsewhere, personally, between two people. But because it has spilled over into the workplace, you've got to kind of follow these very strict procedures.
Yeah. I think that's about it, boys. Would you agree?
Yes, I think that's more than enough.
I've always got more to say, but I'll leave it there.
Save it for next week. Thank you very much for listening to Safeword by Fear and Greed. Mickey T, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Sean.
Adamski, as always, thank you for your contributions.
Thank you, Sean.
That was Safeword by Fear and Greed. Don't forget to hit follow on Safeword so you get a new episode every week. Tell your friends, your family, your colleagues, anyone sleeping in cubicles in the office. Absolutely anyone. I'm Sean Aylmer. Have a great day.